Hi, it's Zoe. Welcome back to my channel. This will be a health and well-being video, which will be every Friday. I think I explained in my last video, apart from the last Friday of the month, which is going to be dedicated to more anti-aging, aesthetic beauty, my favorite beauty products, my favorite lifestyle products, that kind of thing. But every Friday, apart from the last Friday of the month, we'll be looking at different areas of health and well-being. Today I was going to do what a nutritionist has in her fridge, and then I thought, no, back up a bit. That's way too far down the line. We need to start off with some basics. As you can see, I'm very blessed with the qualifications that I have in this area of health and wellness. I've covered everything from cancer, longevity, subfertility, gut restoration, weight management, stress management. I'm very, very blessed in my education, but people get very, when somebody comes to me with a health issue, sometimes they can't see the wood for the trees, or it's difficult to see the wood for the trees. And it's difficult to look at somebody in a 360 way to kind of work out how to start to solve their health problem. And that could be a gut issue or hormone issue. And of course, we look at all of the very, very critical things like blood work. I do like people to get blood work sometimes. We look at sort of the basic health metrics like blood pressure and liver function and kidney function, and whether they're pre-diabetic or sex hormones, if that comes into play. So we can look at very much at the blood and that sort of analysis. And that's great. And it gives you some guidelines. And we also then I look at all of the different vitamins and where somebody could be perhaps deficient, because again, that can exacerbate many health conditions if people are depleted, particularly in things like vitamin D, the B vitamins, which are really important for detoxification, methylation, and also omega-3s, because that plays a lot into sometimes depression or the fat ratios, basically, omega-3, omega-6 balance within the body. There's many things that I look at as a nutritionist, but I think the most important thing, as well as looking at the metrics and the diet, is to look at somebody's true well-being. My experience is that, and I'm talking from myself as well as patients that come and see me, is that 60% of people have not just a dietary issue, they have a lifestyle issue. And those lifestyle issues can be hard to really do a deep dive into yourself and look and analyze where my lifestyle is going wrong and affecting my health. And also having the means and the skills to then do something about that, to change. Because change in any way, whether it's diet or lifestyle, is a challenge, because we don't like change. And even sometimes if we're depressed and we feel awful, we kind of know where we want to get to, but we so somewhere in the thorns and the mire of life that we can't see the stepping ladder to get to where we want to be. So quite often, when somebody comes to see me, when we do a bit more of a sort of deep dive, there could be many things that are affecting a person's health. It could be they have an unhealthy marriage. They could have a healthy marriage, but toxic friends that are maybe driving them into an area of life that is not really congruent with their true personality. They may have a job where they feel disempowered, or that they're not able to be truly authentic. And so half of their life, they feel they have a fake persona because they have a business persona, and that's not really suiting their particular personality. So there are many, many factors. They could be somebody has financial problems, so they could be emotionally really healthy, but they're just, for a long time, have maybe had financial challenges. So it's looking at those and how they can improve that then affect your health and your well-being. So this is where I really want to start. I'm sure if you have any experience of how well-being has, or lack of well-being has affected your health, then please leave your story, if you don't mind sharing, in the comments below. I can definitely empathize with this. When I look back at my life, I started off as 18 years old. In fact, from 18 to about 45, I worked in the law. I worked as a legal executive to start with for many years. Started off as a secretary, became qualified, worked as a legal executive in litigation for many years, and then moved into computer software, where I designed systems for the law. And this sounds very good, doesn't it? On pay, you know, it certainly looked good on paper. I could certainly have no problem paying bills. And I used to stride into the High Court every Thursday with my briefcase, thinking I was Ally McBeal. And, you know, I liked the image of my job. I liked what I looked, you know, I kind of liked the idea of the image of me in that job. But actually, going to the High Court twice a week stressed me beyond belief, to the point I remember guzzling down Natricom tablets. These were these herbal, I can't even remember what was in them. I don't think they sell them anymore. Probably hops, and it was all, you know, fairly healthy stuff, but I was shoving them down because I was at the verge of panic before I used to go and see the master in the High Court. And, you know, so it didn't suit me, did it? It didn't suit me. And as the years went by, I was also in a, you know, it's a very alpha environment, the law, and that suits some women. You know, they love to take up the cudgels every day. They love the cut and thrust. And if that is you, then you do you. But if that isn't you, you are setting yourself up for, maybe not in your 20s, maybe not even in your 30s, you're setting yourself up for health issues. They could manifest in many ways: gut problems, migraine, depression, anxiety, panic attacks. The list goes on, because, like me, you are not being true to yourself. And where you're not being true to yourself in any area, that will affect your well-being. So when I did my study for cancer and longevity, we looked at the blue zone countries, and because they're studied a lot, because they have a lot of centenarians. There's about 8 or 9 of them that you can pick out. And people focus heavily on their diet. Oh, were they, you know, plant-based, or were they, you know, and actually there's a big variety of diet within the blue zone countries. So, you know, people go down these sort of tunnels and get all very on their high horse about what you should eat in those to live to be a centenarian. But actually, when you look at any longevity studies, the biggest items, you know, first, second, third on that list is nothing to do with diet, and it's nothing to do with exercise. It's to do with well-being. It's to do with community, that you have a purpose in life, that you are joyful, that there's a sense of community around you. And this is the biggest factors amongst the blue zone countries. They do not live in a toxic stress. And I want to make that clear, because stress can be extremely beneficial. We are hormetic creatures. We do well with a little bit of stress. We do. If you had no stress, I mean, I see some of these channels and it's all about, I'm sitting here and I'm meditating every minute of the day. And, you know, I mean, this looks very Zen, doesn't it? And I love a Zen environment. You know, I like to meditate. Meditation is incredibly beneficial, but we can't meditate all day and sit in a box, because then when we have to confront life's challenges, we are ill-equipped to deal with them. Now, meditation, of course, please don't read that wrong. That does help with the stresses, because you're able to manifest a more calm physiology when you confront those stresses. But if you still have to confront the stress, there's no getting away from that. But if you're maladaptive to that stress, or if that stress is toxic to you, then it is very, very fundamental to your well-being. So, as you say, that is my story. So then 8 years ago, things change, and they can change very dramatically for me. Several things happened. I was studying nutrition, but at the same time, and I want to tell this story, and I hope it doesn't sound too dramatic, because I hate that, but I lost my job. And I lost it because the software that I was dealing with basically became redundant, and I had to then start to learn new programming computer languages, and that was just not my bag. So I had to give up my job. At the same time, simultaneously, or not too far away from that, I lost my father. And then I had a very bad incident in my home, which I owned, and that cost a lot of money to repair. So it was a big life change all at once. You know, well, I say all at once, it happened within about 2 years, but it made me have to confront all of the things that I didn't want to have to confront. You know, certainly you don't want to confront the death of your parents. You definitely don't want to. I didn't want to confront the fact that my job that I trained from 18 years old had gone and was not going to come back, because I couldn't go back to being a legal executive, because it's been 20 years since I'd done that kind of litigation. So people are not interested. So everything manifested at once, and it did result in my health issues becoming worse. And it was very hard to break it down and realize that I had to change everything to put the building blocks back in place. And I'm happy to say that I am now married, and I don't have to have that very stressful alpha environment to earn a living. I earn my living doing what I love, which is coaching people. And I'm very, very, very blessed, because I don't know where I would have been another 10 years. Certainly, probably either having had I don't know, I just don't know. You don't want to think about that, because it's too frightening to think about. But all I'm saying is, pay attention to the factors that surround you. Look for where there is toxicity, because it's very, very damaging to your health. You can have the best diet, organic, grown in the garden, macrobiotic, blah, blah, blah. But if you are not happy, that affects you at a cellular level. And we are so complex. I am also very fortunate to see ladies who are subfertile. And quite often with subfertility, there is no clinical reason why their pregnancy is not occurring. The male is healthy, the female is healthy, they've got no gynecological or issues that would prevent pregnancy. The male is healthy, and they don't get pregnant, and there's no real reason for it. And quite often it is a stress-related problem. It happens at a very subliminal level. It could be that you're stressed because perhaps the relationship is not as good as you think it is. There's many, many factors. Maybe, sometimes it is nutrition. You just, your body is not ready to accept a new baby, something new inside you. And we look at all of that, of course, in the subfertility lessons that or workshops that I do, or one-to-one sessions that I do. But yeah, again, you know, there's many illnesses or diseases that it creates, and it's very important to hone in and work out what your problem is that is stopping your true health and wellness, not just the fact that your metrics look good on a piece of paper when you go to the GP and he says, yes, you're fine. Leave the office, you're fine. Had your blood work and you're all fine. So please comment below if you have any similar scenarios that, or if you have any stories that you can impart, that'd be great. So I just want to mention my courses that I run. So the first one, because they're coming up in August, the first one is a hormone balance and thrive. It's 2.5 hours from 6 till 8:30 p.m. British Standard Time on Mondays, starting on the 9th of August. So that's the 9th, the 23rd, September the 6th, the 20th, October the 4th, 18th, November the 1st, the 15th. So that is a one-off session of 2.5 hours. And we look at all of the things that affect hormone balance, whether it's at puberty, menopause, pregnancy, or you're trying to get pregnant, or all of these things, or PMS or endometriosis, all of the hormone issues that we look at, how to balance those hormones. It's a very in-depth 2.5 hours, and you'll come away with lots of information, templates, you know, you name it. The second is a weight management course, which is a 12-week course. It's on a Wednesday and it starts on the 11th of August, and it's 1.5 hours, 6 till 7:30 p.m. British Standard Time. It covers everything to do with any of the factors that cause weight issues and metabolic damage. So we're looking at everything from eating disorders, how to correct those, hormones, the imbalance of hormones, the gut microbiome, how to improve the microbiome, types of exercise, when to exercise, all of the things that you can do around that. What type of diet suits an individual? Is it more ketogenic? Is it more plant-based? There's a range of diets within that, but there are a range of rules within those diets. So it suits everybody. And also when to exercise, the benefits potentially of fasting, and when to fast, and when to not eat. So all of those things are covered in the weight management course, and it's a brilliant course. You will come away with a gazillion shopping lists and templates and menus within that 12-week course, but it's little building blocks. That's why we do it over 12 weeks, because you didn't gain weight or have metabolic damage overnight, and you will, if you've lost weight in a month, then you've done it unhealthily. So we build these sort of building blocks slowly over the course of 12 weeks. So I hope if that is of interest to you or any of your friends, you'll come and join me. And the second is an anti-aging video conference seminar, sorry, that I do, sorry, which is on Tuesdays, and that's going to be in September, starting on the 7th of September. I'll give you dates for that. That's going to be looking at all of the things that we can do to anti-age, diet, lifestyle, and exercise, you know, lifestyle, exercise, that kind of thing. That's going to be a very in-depth look at the DNA and the epigenetics and FOX2 and the mTOR and IGF-1 and all of this. Is quite, there'll be a little bit of science in that, but we won't get too sciencey. We'll apply the science so that it's easy to understand. But yeah, so longevity, really important, because we all want to, we don't want to necessarily live longer, but we want to make sure we don't get chronic disease. So that's a really, really great one. I've lectured a lot, did a lot of talks before lockdown. So hope you come and enjoy. That will just be a one-off session, by the way, but it will be 3 hours. It'll be 12 till 3 p.m. BST time. So that's going to be in the middle of the day. Okay. So all of the talk courses, my website will be linked below. But I look forward to seeing you next Friday for another video where we'll be having a look at some of the rules for perhaps staying younger. Yes, we're all on an anti-age a little bit, stay young and healthy. So next week, I will be looking at some of the factors for staying young. Till then, take care, everybody. Bye.